I'm David Lennam at the Brentwood Bay Village Emporium. We're going to get hooked on knitting. I'm joined by the team of Salish Fusion. It's a local knitwear company. It's Sylvia, Olsen, and her daughter, Joni. And could you tell me a little bit about Salish Fusion? Like, what? I know you're wearing Salish Fusion, so we can see it. But what is it?
Okay. So Salish Fusion is a combination of the old and the new. Mm-hmm. It is Co-Salish indigenous knitting, modernized in lighter wool and all different kinds of wear rather than just the sweater.
Okay, so a number of different creations.
A number of different hats, tubes, bags, pillows, ponchos, leg warmers, shawls.
The Co-Salish women were knitting in about the 1880s, and they were just knitting. What they were doing is pulling apart imported knitwear or knitwear from their neighbors and reproducing it. So they picked up knitting. Weaving is the traditional Co-Salish art. Mm-hmm. So these exceptional weavers picked up knitting really quickly. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until about the 1920s that there was an identifiable sweater called an Indian sweater that the Co-Salish knitters were knitting, and it was these bands of geometric design. Mm-hmm. And it is a slight variation on the Fair Isle sweater that was coming out at the same time out of Europe.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about the designs then, because these are designs that have a sense of the past that you've brought into the present.
Geometrics have a place all over the world and can be, like, we use the Greek key. We've used the Greek key in our knitting for as long as I can remember, and when I look at the old sweaters, they're on those sweaters, the Greek key.
And they were used in basket weaving and the blanket weaving, which is what makes geometrics so amazing, is that they were ancient Co-Salish designs, some of them, the same ancient designs as you will see in Florence, Mexico, or Scotland, with little variations. Or exactly the same. So they're pretty cool, which is why we want to just keep using them, because there's some sort of human language that ties us all together. Mm-hmm. And they are deeply, deeply rooted in Co-Salish world, but in many, many ancient worlds. Mm. South America has them.
Maybe that language is, in a sense, art, because this is art and design. Yeah. I mean, this is wearable art.
That's right.
It's not just something like the green shirt I'm wearing.
Right.
From the Bay or somewhere.
That's right.
Well, this one here, like, often when I get a sweater ordered, they'll say, I want the eagle on the sweater, and then I want something that looks like a mountain. Yeah. Right, so they'll pick a geometric to go with it that looks something like this, that signifies to them a mountain.
What's it like working with family? You working with your mom, is this cool?
I worked with my family my whole life. We had a business before this called Mount Newton Gardening, and we did moss hanging baskets around the city of Victoria. And so right since I was 13 or 14 years old, I've worked family business. I've had, I think, 2 employers my whole life. And
that's pretty good.
Yeah, I've done the rest working for myself. So right now I'm a student at the University of Victoria. I'm elected band council for the Sartlet First Nation, and I run this business and have 3 kids. So that's a full plate without working for somebody else. And I think my mom's the same way.
And I'm the bridge person. I am the bridge person from her grandmother, Laura Olsen, who was a phenomenal Co-Salish sweater knitter. Mm-hmm. But she was also a phenomenal designer. She loved designing like crazy stuff. So she was always designing and innovating with her knitting. So I was the bridge because she passed away a number of years ago before Joni really got into knitting. But she knit with me. I knit with her a lot right from the time I was a teenager. So I bridged that Co-Salish knitting from Laura, my fabulous mother-in-law, to her granddaughter Joni. And Joni has the knitting gene. She just has it. She just picks it up and she knows how to do it. And her grandmother Laura would be delighted to see how Joni knits.